the plan. It's to put faith in you where they just know that, okay, you have the business plan. All you need from me is to show up, and I'm going to show up. All you need from me is to show up and do whatever you're asking me to do, and I'm going to show up and do what you're asking me to do. So you trust the plan. So you have the business, and the people connected to you now are expected to trust the plan that you have. Now, it's the same way with the plans that God has for us. He's expecting us to just show up, trust him, have faith in him, and do what he's telling us to do. So when it comes to fulfilling your dreams, doing the things that you're dreaming about and walking in your purpose and walking in your calling and fulfilling those things and to fulfill the visions that God gave you, the first step is to put your trust in God. To put your trust in God, put your faith in him and allow him the room to work and allow him the room to tell you and dictate to you what to do. God, like I said, God is in the humbling business. So he'll humble you real quick when you think you can one-up him or get ahead of him. And he'll tell you, you don't know what I have planned for you. You don't know what I have in store for you. But it's okay because I'm going to teach you anyways. Yes, so I just really love that phrase about how it says that God is in the humbling business, right? That he will humble us real quick when we think that we know the plan for our lives better than he knows the plan. And I love that phrase so much, that God is in the humbling business. I just think it was just so on point that when it just came to me, like, poof, God is in the humbling business. So just to elaborate a little bit more on what we're talking about for today, and for those of you just now tuning in, this is yours truly, Authencia Manning. I'm here today with the Youth Truth Show every Saturday from 4:15 to 5 p.m. right here on Omega Radio. And we're talking about our visions, our dreams, our purpose. We're talking about those things, right? And so specifically, we're talking about God's plan right now. We're talking about the plan he has for each and every one of our lives. And how sometimes we tend to think that we know God's plan better than he knows the plan. So we're able to determine and decipher and make decisions for our life to better our future that are going to outdo the plans that God has for our lives. So when it comes to, our visions, our dreams, and our purpose, and all these different things, they all connect, they all align, right? They all connect. They do not all mean the same thing, and they do not all result in the same result. However, they are all connected. Your visions and your dreams and your purpose, your God-given purpose, all these things connect. Now, going back to how God knows the plan, God has the plan. So if God knows the plan, God has the plan, and God is God. He is the Almighty One. He is the Father of all fathers. He is the King of kings and the Lord of lords. He's bigger than anything we can imagine, anything we can even think of, right? So if this is who God is, and we know this is who God is, we know that he has this immense power that we can't even begin to comprehend, to do all of these miraculous things and even just giving us blessing after blessing and all these different things. We know that this is the God that we serve. This is God. This is the creator of the heavens and the earth. This is the creator of the universe. This is the creator who made each and every one of us. This God, our God, he knows the plan. He has the plan. He created the plan. He made the plan for our lives. So if God gave you a vision, if God gave you a dream, if God gave you a purpose, which he did, he gave each and every one of us a purpose. If he gave you these things, would he not also know what he needs to give you in order for those things to take place, in order for those things to work and for them to happen the way they need to? Wouldn't he know how to position things in your life so that you're able to fulfill the vision he gave you, achieve the dreams and goals that you have, and to walk in your purpose? Wouldn't he give you those things? So why is it that as people, as children of God, we tend to think that, oh, well, God gave me this vision. God gave me this vision. He gave me this calling. He gave me this purpose. He gave me this dream. He gave me this idea, this goal to achieve. Okay, so now that God has given me these things, I think that I'm able to go and operate in flesh, in self, and do things on my own. Now, when we try and do things in the flesh, and when we try and do things where we operate in self, we operate in me, and not in God, what happens? We end up making mistakes. We end up falling short. We end up in positions that we never imagined to be in because we strayed away from God's plan. God's plan and our plan are two different things. And even when you think, oh, I'm doing this because this is the vision God gave me, you're doing something and trying to put God's name on it and saying, well, God gave me the vision to open up a business and to use that business to support charities or whatever the case may be, right? God gave you the business idea. And because he gave you the business idea, God is now telling you what to do. God has the business plan. So he gave you the idea, but God has more than the idea. He has the plan. He has the layout. He has exactly the way things need to go. And we just have to trust him and trust the plan and communicate with him, and he will give us what we need in order for the plan to work out. However, what we do is, oh, well, God gave me the vision. God gave me the goal. God gave me the idea. So now I can go and do what I think I need to do. So because God gave me this business idea, now I need to go and get an LLC because that's what you do when you have a business idea. No, because maybe God didn't want you to get that LLC yet. He wanted you to do something else first. He wanted you to network. He wanted you to connect with people. He wanted you to communicate with people. He wanted you to branch out and spread the idea and grow the idea, nurture the idea before going forth with the idea. So God knows the plan. God has the plan. He knows what he wants you to do, when he wants you to do it, how he wants you to do it. He would not give you the idea if he didn't know exactly what he wanted you to do with it. He wouldn't give you the vision if he didn't know exactly what he wanted you to do with it. He wouldn't give you the dream if he didn't know what he wanted you to do with it. Your dream is to be a dancer. Your dream is to be a singer. Your dream is to be an artist. Your dream is to write music. Your dream is to make music. Your dream is to preach. Your dream is to speak. Your dream is to motivate people. Your dream is to help young people. You know what your dream is. Your dream is to work in the medical field and to help people. You know what your dream is, what your dream job is, your dream career. You know what you want your future to look like. You know if you want a family. You know if you want to get married. You know these things. You know what you want. You know your dreams for your life, right? And honestly and truthfully, right? So let's talk about dreams. So we get misled by our dreams sometimes, right? We think, well, I know it's a dream, but maybe it's unachievable. Maybe it's unreachable. It's unattainable. I cannot achieve that. I can't become a lawyer. I can't become a doctor. I can't become a teacher. I can't become a therapist. I can't be a social worker. I can't. But yet in the Bible, it tells us that we can do all things. And then I want to specify on that one word. It says we can do all things. Can, C-A-N, not can't, C-A-N apostrophe T. It tells us that we can do all things through Christ who does what? Strengthens us. So if we have this authority from God, from Christ, from the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in order for us to do any and everything, we have this authority. Who are we to tell ourselves, I can't achieve that dream? I can't become this next big top fashion designer. I can't become this next speaker. I can't become a preacher. I can't become a doctor. I can't become a lawyer. I can't. Who are we to say we can't do something when God is already telling us, yes, you can? He's already said yes. He's already given the go ahead. He's already said you can do it. You can do all things. He's already said that in his word. And we should know by now that God's word is law. What he says is what he means. And so if it's there, that means that's what we are to do. So if God's telling us in his word, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So who are we to tell ourselves, oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do that. We are not to tell ourselves we can't, because then we are operating in self. We are operating in flesh. However, if we choose to operate by the Spirit, to operate in God, and to do what God is telling us to do, how he's telling us to do it, then guess what will happen? Guess what would happen? If we do things through God, things will turn out better than we can even imagine, better than we can even comprehend. So if we focus on the plan that he made and not on the plan that we're trying to create for ourselves, we will see that things will be better. So, last week we talked about how the Bible tells us where God knows the plans that he has for our life, right? Plans to prosper us, plans to give us hope and a future. So he has plans to give us a future. And it's not just any future, but he wants us to succeed. He wants us to have a successful future. He wants us to be successful. So if that is the case, who are we to say, you know what? I know God said he wants me to be successful, but I don't think I'm going to be successful. Who are we to put doubts on top of God's plan? God knows the plan. He knew the plan before we were even born. So if he knew the plan, and he still knows the plan, he knew the plan then, he still knows the plan now, all we are required to do is to trust him. So what I want to encourage all of you listening today, and all of you who are hearing this, to just reach out on faith and trust God. Reach out on faith and trust God. The vision you have, the dream you have, your purpose in life, all of these things connect. Your dreams, your goals, your ideas, all these things, everything connects. So I want you to reach out on faith and trust God. Stop saying, I can't, because you can. Stop telling yourself you can't do things when you can. You have to start telling yourself that I can do all things. I can do this. I can do that. Why? Because God already gave you that. He already told you can do this. So God already gave you the authority. You just have to walk in that authority, and you have to trust him. You have to walk on faith and put your trust in God and allow him to do the work. If you try and do the work and you try and make the plan and you try and do your own thing, what's going to happen? You're going to fail. But when you operate through God, you will never fail. Even when things seem like they're going, left instead of right, you will not fail because everything connects. Everything that happens in your life, God already knew. He already knows it's going to happen. So you just have to trust him and trust his plan. Even when things don't make sense, trust his plan. We can look at Job. Job trusted God wholeheartedly. He trusted God so much that even when he lost everything, he still trusted God. He could have chosen to operate in flesh. He could have chosen to operate in self and say, you know what? I'm not going to trust God no more. Look at all these things that's happened to me. I'm sick. I have all these diseases. I've lost my wife. I've lost my children. I've lost my job. I've lost my home. I've lost my livestock. I've lost everything. Everything that I own, everything that was my possession, everything that I had, I lost. And now here, I'm alone. I'm by myself. I have no one to turn to. Job could have chosen in that moment. He could have chosen to abandon his relationship with God and turn away from God and rely on self and say, you know what? I'm going to get it back however I can. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get it back. Instead, he chose not to do that. He chose not to operate in self, but he chose to operate by the Spirit, and he chose to trust God and have faith in God. And what did God do? God blessed him back in double. So where he had a wife before, now he has an even better wife. Where he had children before, now he has more children. Where he had friends, he has better friends. Where he had a job, he has a better job. Where he had a certain amount of livestock, he has double that. So this is what happens when you trust God and you trust his plan. So God is giving you the vision. He's giving you the dream. He's giving you the goal. He's giving you the idea. Trust him and go forth and do what he's telling you to do. Walk by faith and do the things that God is telling you to do. Do not operate in flesh. Do not operate in self, but operate by the Spirit and watch what happens. Operate by the Spirit and watch what happens. So I want to encourage you listening today, each and every one of you, to just trust God, and operate by the Spirit. Operate by the Spirit. Do the things that God is calling you to do, how he's calling you to do it. Do not try and operate by yourself, but operate in God. And use that knowledge that we can do all things to achieve the goals and visions you have for 2023. So walk out and do the things that you are being called to do by God. Don't tell yourself that you can't do it. Don't instill fear and doubt in your mind. Trust God, have faith, and everything will fall into place because God already told us in his word. We can do all things, but not only that, but he has plans for us to have a future. So with that being said, we'll continue this discussion next week, Saturday at 4:15 p.m. right here on Omega Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I do hope that you all enjoyed today's program. We'll continue on talking about our visions, our dreams, and God's plan next week on a Youth Truth Show with yours truly, Authencia Manning. So thank you so much for tuning in today.
When you send me up, when you send me up, boss.